Welcome back to the Chapter 5 part of the final exam review. Last time we did numbers 37 through 43. So if you need help with those ones, go ahead and go back to the previous video. We didn't finish, so we have number 44 and number 45 left, and then we'll be done with our final exam review solutions. Number 44 says the product, okay, so let's take this apart. We know product means multiplication. Okay, product. So we're going to be multiplying things together. Product of two consecutive, so that means in a row, integers. And one thing to remember about integers is they can be positive or negative. So we may have multiple possible answers. On the previous problems, we didn't like the negative answers because they were about something real, but this is just integers. We can talk about positives or negatives. So they're products. Let's just call our two integers. Let's call them x and y. So we know the product of x and y is 55 more than their sum. So the sum of x and y would be x plus y. Find the integers, and it gives us this hint. There will be two sets of integers in the answer, negative and positive integers. And we'll look at that when we get to our answers. So with consecutive, if we know the first one, which we said was x, and we called the next one y, because they're consecutive, it would be one more than the previous one, right? If we talk about 4 and 5, 5 is one more than 4 is. So let's go ahead and substitute what we know about y into the equation we made up here. X times y, which is x plus 1, is 55 more than their sum, x plus y, but we said y is x plus 1. So now we can start simplifying that. We've only got one variable, so we can try to solve it. On the left, we distribute the x. X times x is x squared plus x equals 55 plus, we can combine like terms over here, plus 1 is 56. X plus x is 2x. And we have, again, x squared, which means this is a quadratic equation. So we're going to move everything from one side to the other side, so we have a 0 on one side. So we'll subtract 2x from both sides and 56. X squared plus, oops, not plus anymore, plus x minus 2x will be minus 1x. You don't have to write the 1 if you don't want to. Minus 56 equals 0. Another fast trinomial. Awesome. So we have x times x, put those in our parentheses. Then we need two numbers that multiply to be negative 56, so we'll have a negative and a positive. And they need to add to negative 1, so that'll be negative 8 and positive 7. Remember, that's all equal to 0. If I set each of these equal to 0, we'll have x minus 8 equals 0. So x equals positive 8. And if I set this one equal to 0, I'll subtract 7 from 0. X equals negative 7. Now if I look at just the numbers, those are just the x values. I still need to find y values. And we said in the problem that the integers can be positive and negative. So there's our hint. We're going to have two sets of integers in the answer. So we'll have x and y for positive, and we'll have x and y for the negative integers. So we already have our positive x, that's 8, and our negative x is negative 7. So if we have y is 1 more than that, y for the positive would be 9, and for the negative, negative 7 plus 1 will be negative 6. So our pairs of integers are 8 and 9 for positive, and negative 7 and negative 6 for negatives. Those are two sets of answers for number 44. 45 talks about intercepts. X-intercepts, just a reminder, are where a graph touches the x-axis. And for a lot of parabolas, that means we have two x-intercepts. Could be less than that, but at least at most we'll have two. So it says, what are the x-intercepts of the graph of y equals x squared plus x minus 12. So we might have two answers, we'll see. One thing to remember about x-intercepts is that at that point, y is always 0. So to find them, we plug in 0 for y. Y was so right here, so we'll plug in 0 there. We are going to solve this, but luckily we already have 0 on one side, so we can just do that fast trinomial factoring. Have an x and an x here, negative 12, but adds to be positive 1x. I'm going to have plus 4 and minus 3. Solve each of those for 0. And we get x is negative 4 and x is positive 3 if we add 3 to both sides there. So my two x-intercepts, we got to make them into points, right, coordinate points. I have negative 4 and 0 for the y, and 3 and 0 for the y on that one. So my two x-intercepts are negative 4, 0, and 3, 0. If I look at the graph, and you don't have to do this, but it would look something like this. We have negative 4 over here, positive 3, and a happy face. Parabola right there. That's what it would look like. But all we had to do was find our intercepts. Negative 4, 0, and 3, 0 are the x-intercepts of that graph. We've finished now the final review for Math 100B in that textbook. Good luck on the final.